Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name's Jeff. We are all the Animal Donut family. Today, a very special update to the semiconductor portfolio. I just made this portfolio at the start of this year, 2024, on the very first trading day of the year, which was January 2nd. So my plan was to invest in 10 semiconductor stocks or semiconductor equipment maker stocks, and I wanted to see if I could beat the return of the S&P 500. These 10 semi stocks are doing really well. And my plan here was to invest equal amounts in each of the 10 stocks. So about 10% in each one. I did this on January 2nd. I just got a comment and I want to reply to it. It's by ABB. He's one of our Animal Donut family in Thailand. And he wrote, "How is your 10 semi portfolio doing?" He said, weight equally 10 each. The answer to that question is yes. Weight equally 10% each. And then he said, performance, number 1, ASPEN, AEROGELS, yes. Number 2, onto innovation, yes. Good going. And number 3, CAMTEK. Actually, number 3 is Nova Limited, NVMI. And number 4 is CAMTEK. These companies have all done really well. In fact, those 4 have really carried the portfolio. And then he said, you dollar cost average DCA all on a monthly basis, or DCA a few stocks based on the cost being down, or do you just buy and hold? Excellent question. How am I managing this portfolio? The answer is this. Every month, I know I want to add $2,000 to this portfolio, but I don't know exactly which stock I'm going to put it into. So I look at how the companies are doing, which ones seem to be doing really well. And if I see a trend, like I've noticed with CAMTEK, the earnings have been strong. I listened to the earnings call. I really like the CEO. So that was one of the early stocks that I put an extra $2,000 into. The very first one was onto innovation. So I set up the portfolio January 2nd and I put equal amounts into each stock. I think I started with $1,000 into every stock in the portfolio. And then on January 2nd, I added an extra 2 into onto. So that's been nice because that stock's done really well so far in 2024. And I had like an extra amount at the very start. And then what I've done is, as I've learned more about companies and as I've got more confidence in some of them, like AXCELIS Technologies, ACLS, I added more to AXCELIS. I did that, I think, right at the beginning of May. And, that's sort of how I'm doing this. Are there stocks that I wish I had added a lot more to early? Yes, like ASPEN AEROGELS. If I had the confidence in that company early in the year, I would have definitely put more into it, but I did not know it was going to pop and go up about 50% in one day. So that was just something I've learned, through this whole process. And I'm going to make a video about ASPEN AEROGELS because I have some new info on this company, a new story that I want to share from my direct experience. And I think you guys are going to find this really cool. So I'm going to do that in a future video. But today, this is mostly just to answer these questions that ABB had. And so yes, I dollar cost average on a monthly basis, but I'm flexible. I'm not set on exactly which company I dollar cost average into. I'm not putting equal amounts into all 10 stocks. And then he says, just want to learn how you manage semi portfolio while keep growing it. So the way I manage it is just being very consistent with it. I have a tendency, I think, to get a little bit distracted or emotional when I see some of these stocks doing really well, and it makes me want to add more to those stocks. And then the other thing that's a potential distraction is the portfolio that I just started in May, this month, is doing really, really well. This is the Ando portfolio, the Animal Donut portfolio. I just created it as a kind of fun ETF. It's a fictional ETF. It doesn't really exist. You can't buy shares of it. So I bought 5 stocks, and the performance has been phenomenal in just 3 weeks now. And so there's a temptation to, instead of doing the semiconductor portfolio, $2,000 every month, to maybe put 1,000 into the semi and 1,000 into the animal donut, kind of split it up. But that's changing things, and I don't know if it's good, in the middle of the year to kind of change course and go from putting everything into the semiconductor to kind of splitting it up into two. What I'd really like to do, and it depends on how my earnings are, how much money I can make in my photography business, and if I can bring in more money, then I might be able to add 2 to the semi portfolio and 2,000 into the animal donut ando ETF portfolio. But again, that's a lot of money, and I have to really be able to bring in some more money this year in order to invest that way. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do it, but what I've really noticed, I've been doing a lot of reading and learning about trading. So I'm reading about professional stock traders who have really just done incredibly well in stocks. And there are a few characteristics that each one of them seem to express as to like the keys of their success. And one of the keys is that you need to have a downside protection. So where people make mistakes is they get very excited about like one stock or a few stocks, and they go all in onto these positions, and then they'll drop quickly or they'll drop a lot, and they didn't have any protection. So these losses can really screw up your portfolio. And the other thing they say is the mistake is that people don't let their winners run. So, you'll have a few stocks that will do really well. And there's kind of a misconception, I think, that when you get a gain in a portfolio, you should take a profit. And I know there are a lot of probably successful people who do that. They take profits regularly. But the traders who I really have learned the most from say, you don't want to take those profits in the stocks that are just going to keep on going up for you. And so that ties in with what I'm doing with the semiconductor and also the ando portfolio, which is I'm seeing these trends and they continue to send the stock prices up. And so I want to make sure that I'm sticking with these companies, because I think one of the key qualities of a really good trader, and I see myself more as an investor, but I like to kind of absorb the qualities of successful traders. And one of them is to, when you see a trend, and I see the trends right now, number one is being in semiconductors and related stocks. And the other trend, I believe, is going to be in the power producers, the energy companies that are fueling AI growth. And that's why I've particularly been focused on companies like Constellation Energy and Vistra Energy. So what I'm going to do is just continue to add to those as I can throughout the year, see if I can just keep consistent with both the semi stocks and the energy stocks, and just try to maximize how much I add to those. Because I think when I look back at the decisions I'm making now, in 3 years or in 5 years, I'm going to be really glad that I got in on these trends early, because I think these just are part of the infrastructure. They're part of what's going on. What I really like about the semiconductor portfolio is it does not hold NVIDIA. I like the company, I like the stock, but I think there's an emotional tendency to go all in on the big tech stocks that have been doing well. And as much as I like participating, I don't want to be too heavily invested, because these big losses can really wreck your portfolio. And I just think there's a lot of room for growth in these small cap companies, whether they're in semiconductors or in energy and power generation. So that is everything I can share with you right now. There's one other thing. That's it. The one other thing I wanted to say is things are going well for this semiconductor portfolio. And so what I have to remember to do is keep doing what's working. Don't get distracted. Don't go chasing other things. Don't jump in and out of stocks. So far this portfolio is up almost 24%, and the S&P 500 is up about 12%. So this is the kind of thing at the beginning of the year I was just hoping, and I was thinking I might beat the S&P honestly by like 3% or 4%, and I would be very happy with that. But the fact that this portfolio has doubled the return of the S&P 500, without owning NVIDIA. Remember that. The S&P 500's gains have been largely due to the strong performance of NVIDIA. This portfolio has doubled the S&P 500 without owning that one hyper-growth tech stock. So that is something that I'm very energized by. I'm going to keep the focus on it. Thank you for your questions. That was an awesome set of questions in the comment section, ABB. Thanks all of you for watching. What do you do? Are you investing in semis? What kinds of stocks are most interesting to you? And also, I've revealed to you the best performers are ASPEN, AEROGELS, Nova Limited, CAMTEK, Onto Innovation. Which stocks are the ones that are powering your portfolios? Please just type the tickers or write something in the comments so I'll know that you saw this video. I'd love to hear from you guys. Thanks so much for watching this. And yeah, I'm making some cool videos coming up. I'm going to do an update on the Ando ETF portfolio. I'm sure you're going to like that one. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you in the next video.